Some things are hard to describe. Coors Field is. Yes, it is a beautiful ballpark, the crown jewel of lower downtown. 76 acres of hand-laid brick, Kentucky bluegrass, state-of-the-art facilities. Yes, it's considered one of the best ballparks in the country, even though on this 20th anniversary, it's already the third oldest in the National League. And yes, it has seen its share of really good and really bad baseball.
The first no-hitter in Coors Field history.
Home to a World Series.
15 seasons in, they're going to the World Series.
All-star game, comebacks, walk-offs, and hundreds of home runs. It's where fans have experienced fun, frustration, futility, and occasional fury. Fine. In the end, Coors Field is about what baseball is about. Love of the sport, community, and pride. And yes, even in the bad years, there is always next year at Coors Field. It touches all the bases. Hard to describe. Hi everyone, I'm Gary Shapiro. Thanks for joining us. Sure doesn't seem like 20 years since this place opened. That opening day, Walt Weiss scored the first run for the Rockies. He's now the team skipper. There have been a lot of other firsts at Coors Field over the past 2 decades. Chris Vanderveen joins us to talk more about that.
Gary, first home run, first walk-off, first playoff, first World Series. A lot of firsts here in a ballpark that's been a culmination of downtown Denver's dream.
Memories linger.
Will it happen tonight at 20th and Blake?
Linger on the edge of seats. And inside ballparks. Ballparks built to accommodate eternal dreams.
Colorado has swept the Dodgers.
Memories.
That was my goal today, to be the first fan in Coors Field.
On a chilly night 20 years ago,
it's Colorado in April.
Coors Field was an empty canvas.
You're right up so close to the players, it's unbelievable.
A story in need of characters. And then perhaps fittingly, during the bottom of the 14th, an outfielder named Dante
High drive, way back.
sparked his own inferno.
And there's the storybook ending for the Rockies.
I think it was about 15 degrees when he ended up hitting that home run. I remember it being real cold that night.
The Rockies have won it on a home run by Bichette.
It was a reward to the fans and all the people that have put into making that stadium happen.
From that moment on,
Here we go, the 3-2 pitch, swung on, line drive, base hit. It's a base hit in the right center, and the Rockies have won the game.
only a pitcher would find the Coors Field offense
Walt Weiss, the veteran.
offensive.
And we felt like little kids moving into a new house, getting new toys. It was just a great time, a great moment.
That first season in Coors brought with it Coors Field's first playoff game.
2 outs, and the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and the Rockies a very frustrating end to this one.
And its first lesson in disappointment.
The homer is shy of the cycle. Swings and drives.
Inside a ballpark where the ball flies 9% farther than it might at sea level.
A walk-off in grand style.
Runs ran away with the headlines. Yet in 1996,
The 2-2 pitch to Ellis Burks. He got it.
Coors hosted its first and to date its only no-no, thanks to a pitcher named Nomo.
The first no-hitter in Coors Field history. Hideo Nomo with his first career no-hitter.
One year, the average score here was 8-7.
We know every time we take the field in Coors, it's a pretty good chance that we can win a ball game.
8-7.
I looked at it like that. It was going to be a great show. We had the weapons in that particular lineup to make things happen.
203 consecutive sellouts, at least 3 million fans every season for 7 years. Many came simply to see the Blake Street
Walker swing,
Bombers.
deep drive, right field. That ball's going. It ain't coming back.
And '98 All-Star Game was played at 20th and Blake, it would take another 9 years
Swung on line to right.
for the playoffs to return thanks to a play-in game and that head-first slide.
He dropped the ball. The tag. Holiday is in. Rockies have won the game.
2 series later,
Corpus ready. First pitch. Check swing roller. Tulowitzki has it. Throws to first. Ball game. World Series time in Colorado.
one of the city's best memories.
They're going to the World Series.
And okay, sure.
2-2 to Smith.
Coors Field eventually saw another team celebrate a championship honor.
Game over, series over, and the Red Sox are world champs again.
But every once in a while, the Lodo magic returned.
1817! Are you kidding me?
Making more memories along the way.
Rockies were down 13-4.
And from the Big Cat to Todd, and every Rocky in between.
And Eric Young has 6 steals today.
Those memories will linger. Linger in the minds of those who will sit on the edge of these seats for years to come.
They'll be talking about this one for a long, long time.
Every player we talked to said the best thing about playing at Coors Field is the fans. Coors Field has drawn 2 to 3 million people or more just about every year it's been here. The other thing about playing at Coors Field is the altitude. We'll talk more about that coming up.
For me, I threw my ERA out the window and tried to pitch for quality games.
One place you may not have seen is inside the manual scoreboard in right field. Workers manually put up runs, hits, errors, and pitchers' numbers for every other game going on in Major League Baseball. It can be a hot job in the summer and a cold job in the spring and fall.
Coors Field itself, the stadium is beautiful and all, but it's the people that come into that stadium each and every game that makes it really special and really takes it to another level of endearment. So I think those individuals that came in each and every time and gave us as players that reception, it was outstanding.
Welcome back, everybody. In the 20 years since Coors Field was built, we've seen a lot of really good baseball here and a ton of really bad baseball here. Part of that is because of how unique this place is compared to other ballparks. Sports reporter Aaron Matus has more on that.
2 decades worth of memories, many of which involve baseballs landing here, the outfield seats. It's a mile high, a ballpark in the heavens, and that's what it's been for hitters. But pitchers think Coors Field is a nightmare, and unfortunately for the Rockies, that has led to more seasons not to remember, but rather forget. It's a place where stories are made and told.
I hit 3 home runs in one game there. That was a great memory.
At Coors Field, most of the tales involve one thing.
Swings and drives.
At the time that I hit for the cycle, that was in 2010 against the Cubs.
How about that?
Offense.
There goes EY. The pitch.
You know, still in those 6 bases in one
He
game.
has tied a major league
It's had the
record.
reputation since the doors at 20th and Blake opened in 1995. That address and the Rockies' slugging lineup quickly merged together. The Blake Street Bombers were unleashed.
We have a great lineup there, and we just have a great time hitting home runs there.
Going Dante swings, drives it deep to center.
I remember that first year in '95, we were caught off guard with the way the games went.
We were almost guaranteed 10-9, 10-8, 10-7 games. We were always in it, and that's the way we felt. That was the Coors Field advantage we had.
Around third.
An edge. You could call it that, and many hitters do.
You know, I think we found out relatively quickly. It's a different deal. You know, playing there, I think we've adapted to it over the years.
You probably won't, however, hear a guy on the mound talking about having an advantage at Coors.
It's definitely a difficult place to pitch. I've got a saying that Coors Field weeds out the weak.
3-2 pitch.
Statistics suggest it hasn't done that, however. Rockies pitching has never been strong at Coors Field and actually had the worst ERA in baseball last year. In 20 seasons downtown, the Rocks' earned run average has been nearly a run worse at home than on the road.
I threw my ERA out the window and tried to pitch for quality games. See how many quality games I could pitch in a year, and at the end of the year, if you're pitching enough of them, you're going to be successful.
0 division titles in just 3 playoff appearances. And it's not just pitching. Rockies hitters have thrived at home with a .308 batting average over 20 years, but that falls to just .243 on the road. Altitude versus sea level is an adjustment, and in 2002 the Rockies started placing game balls in a humidor to cancel some of the effects of the thin, dry air.
It makes a difference. Those balls we use in batting practice, they're dry. They dry and they get hard as a rock.
If it's going to fly, it's meant to fly in certain areas of that ballpark. Right center field is going to fly. I don't care what type of ball you're using.
There has been an effect. The Rockies' ERA has been more than a run better with the humidor, and home runs at the park have been down. But it's not just the long ball. The outfield at Coors Field is spacious. In fact, it's huge.
It's actually bigger than other fields, so you have more ground to cover.
I was more concerned with extra base hits and balls falling in than I was home runs.
It all adds to the mystique, and maybe it's not impossible to pitch at Coors Field. It's just that nobody wants to try.
If you want to convince guys to come there and pitch, you're going to have to overpay. And I think a few contracts before has, come back to bite them in the behind about that.
Management has chased the big name. Millions were spent on the likes of Mike Hampton, Denny Nagel, and Darryl Kyle. All 3 failed.
If you pitch up in the zone, you're going to get hurt. I don't care if you're pitching on the moon.
But until the team can assemble a staff that consistently gives them a chance to win, they will keep losing.
You can pitch here. The mental stress that it provides, if you're willing to accept that and embrace it and be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Despite just 7 winning seasons at Coors, the seats still fill up. Moments continue to be witnessed and memories shared. Stories of exciting and often high-scoring baseball played a mile in the air, with that elusive World Series championship hopefully much closer than that.
Whether the Rockies are winning or losing, Coors Field is a winner. Next, we'll talk about how it's transformed an entire state.
There was really nothing in the area. In fact, it was a pretty bad neighborhood, to be honest.
Probably the most famous place in Coors Field that you'll never get to see is inside the humidor. It's where they store the balls to make them more moist so they don't explode off the bats so much at altitude. The Rockies believe it makes pitching here more like pitching at lower elevations. A lot of pitchers are skeptical.
And this ball rolled down the right field line.
Every time you step on the grass and you look up, there's a lot of people rooting for the team, and that's the best thing you can get. There's a lot of teams in baseball that don't get a lot of support from the fans, and that makes you appreciate more. And we just feel really blessed to be able to play in front of a lot of fans.
Hello again. Coors Field has transformed lower downtown into this wonderful, vibrant place to live and to visit. It has an economic impact of $195 million a year for the city of Denver, almost twice what was predicted when it was built. Looking at Lodo then and looking at it now is like looking at 2 different worlds. Lower downtown before Coors Field was a depressing world. Filled with broken buildings, crime, and homelessness. Drug dealers worked the streets in the middle of the day, and business was brisk.
How much is Coke?
Homeless teens slept on the floor of an empty grain silo near the railroad tracks. Shanty towns lined the Platte River Valley. There was a feeling of desperation in the air.
There was really nothing in the area. In fact, it was a pretty bad neighborhood, to be honest. A lot of folks were kind of scared to come down here.
Breckenridge Brewery was one of the few new businesses in Lodo at the time. The owners bought cheap and opened in 1992, hoping the area would turn around someday. And boy, did it, starting with the announcement that Coors Field would be built right across the street.
You can plan and plan and plan, but it was dumb luck that we ended up here.
And so the big, empty 76-acre lot at 20th and Blake slowly became a ballpark. The 6 Denver area counties at the time formed a stadium district and increased the sales tax a penny on $10 to pay for it. The $200 million Coors Field was designed to fit in.
The architecture you see here looks very much like a lot of the old historic warehouses that you see down here. All those kinds of things right in downtown, which meant that people could walk here, they didn't have to drive here. Everything came together, and it was primarily because this was the right location.
Workers built the ballpark with 1.2 million bricks, tons of steel beams, 120,000 square feet of Kentucky bluegrass, and lots of pride. After all, this was to be Colorado's contribution to the world of Major League Baseball.
There's a plaque out in center field that has the names of all the workers here, from the laborers up to the main architects. And it's not just a listing of who worked here, it was confirmation of a bond that we all had together.
Over the years, the neighborhood grew and became a multi-million-dollar entertainment, retail, and residential hub of the city.
All these jobs, not only at Coors Field, but again with all the restaurants, the housing facilities that are around here, the businesses that have moved in close, it's been a phenomenal impact to our lower downtown area.
That's not to say there haven't been growing pains. Police and business owners are still working to do something about drunks and occasional violence when the bars close, especially on weekends.
I think we're one of the safest places downtown compared to Chicago, New York, LA, Miami Beach even.
And as more and more people, especially millennials, moved into the area, it made it feel more like a real neighborhood.
It's one of the parts of downtown that really has it all. Come July, when we have our grocery store down here finally in lower downtown, it'll be one of those places that you'll never have to leave.
Lodo is vibrant, exciting, and ever-changing. And that's not lost on the Rockies, who are neighbors too. The owner claims the team will keep doing its part.
The team has had ups and downs. I know this, that when it has ups, we really rock this place, and we're hoping that happens again real soon.
Yes, today Lodo is a whole different world, mostly because of this world-class ballpark. Take me out to the ball game. That means different things to different people. Coming up, how this place touches all bases. Here's a place in Coors Field you probably haven't seen. It's the keg cooler. There are actually 15 of them under the stadium, each holding about 234 kegs of beer. Lines connect them to the concession stands above. During the game, about 3,500 cold kegs are hooked up around the stadium.
It's a beautiful stadium in a great city. It'll always be special for me because like I said, all the years that I've spent there in a variety of positions, it's always going to have a special place in my heart.
As we celebrate the 20th birthday of Coors Field, we can't help but wonder what the next 20 years will bring. The fans hope some better baseball, that's for sure. But beyond that, there is no doubt Coors Field will continue to be a major attraction. We close with a look at just what a ballpark means to a community when it's touching all the bases. Thanks for watching. A lot of people have walked through these gates over the past 20 years. They've watched a ton of baseball. But when you think of Coors Field, who wins and who loses isn't the only thing. The ballpark is about more. It's about the feeling you get when watching a game. The raw joy of sitting in the sun cheering on your favorite players, families and friends spending time together. Baseball owner Bill Veeck once said the most beautiful thing in the world is a ballpark filled with people. But when you think about Coors Field, the social gathering isn't the only thing. The ballpark is about more. It's about businesses and growing the economy. About making the neighborhood, state, and city better. It's about developing entertainment, creating diversity, and promoting culture. Yet when you think about Coors Field, that is still not the only thing. The ballpark is about more. It brings a sense of pride. This is Colorado's ballpark. This is our ballpark. It is one of the best in the country. Yet with Coors Field, the civic satisfaction isn't the only thing. The ballpark is about more. Yes, at its very core, it is about baseball and everything that comes with it. Hopes and dreams, frustration and failure. It is about all of that and more.